My name is Jose. I am a 36-year-old, and I was dating Maria, a 36-year-old. She was the love of my life. 3 years ago, I met her at a conference when I was working at a bank. We met in New York City. She was there talking about HR policies, and I was smitten by her smile. Post the session, I walked up to her and asked if she would have a coffee with me. She initially rejected the idea, but after asking her again, she agreed. Our coffee date was amazing. We smiled and laughed, and I really had a good time. The next time we met, it was in Chicago. I asked her if she was open for coffee, and she smiled and agreed. We went out, and this time, she told me that she got divorced a few months back and has a 2-year-old daughter. She stated that she has to work for her daughter. I liked her and felt that she might be the one. I never had a serious relationship so far, so I really wanted this to work. Our third meeting occurred in my hometown. This time I asked her out, and she agreed. I took her out for dinner this time, and the night ended in my home and my bed. She was amazing. I guess staying single did get to her. She left no stones unturned that night. In the morning, she did not look very happy, and I asked if she did not like me. She said that she loved me, and she did not know how her daughter would take this. I told her that I would try my best to leave an impression on her. She smiled, and she left. I later went to Maria's hometown and met her daughter, and it was a great meeting. She liked me. I started dating Maria, and after a year, she got transferred to my town and moved in with me. Life was amazing. I had a great wife and an amazing daughter. I never felt so content in my life. I felt I had everything, and offered help. I started my business, and I told Maria that I now needed to spend a lot of time with this business and would not be able to give her as much time as I give now. She stated that she knows and is ready for it. I worked hard, and within 3 months, I was making some good money. Once Maria had quit her job, I asked her if she could start working with me. That way we could spend more time together and make more money. She started working with me, and for me, this was a great time. The thing about great times is that they don't last forever. After 3 months of working with me, Maria started showing signs of disinterest and was not very happy at work. Work was hard, I guess. She used to leave the office early, and when I reached home, she seemed distant and did not talk a lot. I did not put a lot of thought into it, but I guess it was a mistake. In a few weeks, I could see that there were some discrepancies in the accounts. I was missing more than $2,000 in the last 2 months. I tried to find it, but I could not find any related expenses. I asked Maria, and to my shock, she got offended and started a huge argument with me. She accused me of accusing her of theft. I explained that there was money missing, and she was in charge of accounts. She then went ahead, calling me stupid, and claimed that I don't know how to check accounts. I did not want to argue further, and went and slept on the couch. That day, she stopped coming to the office. I went back to the office and decided to speak to a friend. I called Duncan, and he came by. I showed him the accounts and asked his opinion. He stated that $2,000 was missing. I am not stupid. I thanked him, and he left. I now wanted to know what was happening. I decided that I would check all the corners before I went and talked to any of my employees. There were only 5 people besides me and Maria, so not much that I needed to check. After a week, I could not find anything. I knew it was Maria, but why? I never stopped her from taking money from me. Why steal? I decided to check what she was doing behind my back. I called Duncan, and once again, like a brother, he came to my office. I told him what I thought and asked him what to do. He stated that he would keep an eye on Maria and asked me to install spyware to clone her phone. He gave me a laptop and asked me to connect the phone with it. That night, I went home, and when I was convinced that Maria was asleep, I installed the app. I tried to check her phone on my own and found that there were a lot of nudes of Maria. Although I had no clue why she would click any of these, a red flag just went up in my mind. I kept her phone back and checked that the spyware was working fine. I could download all her data and could listen to her conversations. I handed the laptop to Duncan the very next day. She did not make me breakfast, and I left on an empty stomach. I did have a good breakfast at a nearby coffee shop. Duncan called me after a week and told me to come over to his office. I went there fearing the worst. He made me sit on a chair and gave me a beer. I have good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first? I said. Give me the good news. You are not married, he said. What is the bad news? You are living with a woman who is stealing your money, and there is a guy who is spending it. My heart sank. He then shared a series of videos and images where Maria was seen with a guy. There were 3 videos where they were found getting intimate in a parking lot and in broad daylight. That was shocking. There were more images that she was sending to this guy, and then Duncan played some phone recordings. In one of the conversations, Maria was calling me a fool, and she promised to give this guy more money for his business. She claimed that she was in love with this guy and would make sure that once he was successful, she would move in with him. I knew what needed to be done. I have just wasted 9.5 months of my life for a 304. It's time to clean the house. Duncan gave me another beer and told me he would come with me. We reached my place and she was not at home. I went upstairs and packed her stuff and brought it out in the garage. She came home an hour later and her daughter was with her. I asked her to leave her daughter in our room and come and sit with me. She came and I played the videos on the TV. I played the call recordings, and all this while she did not show any emotion on her face. I did not expect anything. I just asked her, "Who is the guy?" She stated that he was a businessman she met a few months ago and had been in touch with him ever since. It was more than just a touch, I shot back. You stole from me and wanted to steal more. She stated that this guy was better than me and she would be better off with him than me. I lost my mind. I started screaming and went into the garage. What happened next is something like this. I guess this is what happens when you give somebody the world, take care of their child, and provide for them. Look at that little girl. That little girl has no idea what's going on. She had a fatherly figure, ready to take care of her, trying to take care of her, starting a business, trying to be the best version of myself that I could be for her, and she had the audacity to go out there, cheat on me, and make me look like an ass. What a waste of 9.5 months. But I can't let that get to me. It's time to stack up and make millions, bro. She left with her daughter. Duncan and I had some more beer at my home, and then he left. I was alone in my house. I was sad but more determined than ever. A week later, I got a call from Duncan. He then sent me a video and told me to watch it. What I saw was horrifying. My heart just sank for the child. I cursed Maria for her choices. She not only got dumped on the street, but dragged her daughter with her. The child is innocent and must be wondering why this is happening to her. I could not sleep that night. I could not hold my anxiety and called Maria. She kept crying, and I asked her about the child. She stated that she had moved back to her hometown and was with her family right now. She apologized and said if only she could turn back time and not make the mistake she made. She stated that the guy dumped her after she told him that she had left me and was now planning to move in with him. He just wanted to use her for his pump and dump session and was just looking to get some money from her. Bottom line, she was chasing her doom. I told her that I was not interested in her babbling and was only interested in knowing about her daughter, and hung up. I knew the child was safe for now. I never tried to contact Maria again. She did call me multiple times, but I never answered. My business is working fine, and I know a few years down the line, I might find love. Maybe this time, I will be lucky. Until that day, I am working for me.